The webinar today is called Your Website, Brochureware, or LeadGen Machine. It's going to be terrific. I've got a great presenter. Before we get started, though, I want to take you through a couple of housekeeping items. The first one is that, as is our usual practice, slides from this webinar will be sent to you within 3 business days. So you'll get an automated thank you note from the GoToWebinar system, and then you'll get a second email from caring.com with a link to the recording and the slides. Also, this is a one-way webinar. However, we encourage you to ask questions, and you do that by typing the questions into the box on your GoToWebinar control panel at the side of your screen. This is me, Katie Roper. I'm the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for caring.com. And joining me today is Hendrik de Vries, who has created the Cyber Guide, which is a framework for evaluating whether your website is brochureware or a lead generation machine. He did a Cyber Guide for caring.com, and I would say we got maybe a B+. So before we dive in here, I am going to do a quick poll just to get us started and see what people are doing. So if you could help us out and answer the questions on the poll, thinking about your own website for your community or your home care agency, which of these things do you do on your own website? So if you could help us out and select one or more, select all of the ones that you do. This will help us understand where people are right now and what should be the main topics that we cover in the webinar today. While we wait, the next slide in my deck is our standard promo for caring.com, so I'll take care of that while people are voting. I hope most of you on the call know that caring.com is the largest website specifically targeting family caregivers with an elderly loved one. We get 3 million visitors a month coming to our site, mostly to read our content, but about 10% of them end up with a real need for senior care, whether that's in-home care or community-based care. And in those cases, they visit our directory, they talk to our family advisor team, and we screen them, qualify them, and refer them out to the appropriate partner. Okay, we close the poll. So here is a quick snapshot of how many people are doing right now on their website the things that we're going to talk about. So if you clicked all of these, you can just hang up the phone if you want. And if you don't, let's continue on the journey here. Okay. We've covered the commercial, so let's dive in. Before I turn it over to Hendrik, I wanted to talk a little bit about why this is important, and I also, I'm going to use this as a little bit of a commercial for our next webinar. Caring has just concluded consumer research into what we're calling the caregiver journey, and this is a survey that we flighted asking people, you know, where are you in your caregiver journey? How long has it lasted? Are you living together? Are you considering a change? The results are terrific. We're doing the real-time analysis right now, but one thing that I wanted to bring up is for the segment of people whose loved one lives in a facility, we asked a question about which tools or resources did you use to select the community that you ultimately chose. And interestingly, the community's website was selected by only 27% of people who were asked this question. Now, you have to take that with a grain of salt because only 29% of them said they used an online directory such as caring.com, and yet 100% of them were people who were on the list for caring.com. So by definition, they had some sort of engagement with us prior to this. But it still, I think, highlights that while maybe they're using our websites, they're not really critical in making the decision. The other thing I thought was interesting, though, was that online resources were used by roughly twice as many people as recommendations from in-person professionals like medical or senior care professionals or clergy. So I thought that was interesting, too. We are going to be talking in depth about the results from this caregiver journey survey at our next webinar on October 8th, so mark your calendars. And with that, I am going to turn things over to Hendrik. Hang on a sec. I'm going to change presenter. And Hendrik, you have the con.
Okay. Can everybody hear me okay? Let's see. So, first of all, hi everyone, and thank you, Katie, for having me. Katie,
Hendrik,
you actually
just quickly, you're showing your handouts, not your slides. There you go.
Okay. Is that better?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I made one mistake, and you actually took my first joke too. So this is a rough start for me. I was going to say that for those of you who checked off all 5, that you can go ahead and hang up, but the truth of the matter is that after analyzing thousands of websites, we've never really found a perfect site. So hopefully you'll be able to learn something today. But today you're going to learn why your website is so important and how to convert it into a lead generating machine. So did you know that 80% of people searching for senior care visited community websites they were considering? And 90% of them, of the senior care websites, they make the same 3 mistakes. So imagine being able to quickly capture the attention of those website visitors, avoid making those same 3 mistakes, and convert visitors into actual leads. So today, you're going to learn if your website is a simple brochure or a lead generating machine. You're going to learn the 3 biggest problems with senior care websites as well as the 3 biggest opportunities. And stick around till the end because we have something special to offer everyone here. So this right here is the 10-point analysis checklist. You're also going to leave this webinar with a list of the tools that we use to analyze your site and, of course, actionable guidance to boost lead generation. And we'll send you this after the webinar as well. So what's the purpose of your website? That's a pretty big question that a lot of people are wondering. So we believe that the primary purpose of your website is to tell visitors 3 things. Here's what we do, here's what it'll do for you, a benefit, and here's what to do next. So have any of you ever been on a website and you didn't immediately find what you were looking for? What'd you do? Yeah, you probably hit the back button, right? I mean, the internet, it's the greatest place to make mistakes because there's really no penalty. All you have to do is click the back button. So what happens when somebody actually comes to your website? They get a first impression, they look to see if you're a good fit, what services you provide, reviews, location, price, and other general information. And as the poll said, not many people are putting reviews and price, and we're going to dive into that deeper a little bit later. But you're going to learn today how to give a great first impression and give people what they want so they don't click that dreaded back button. So a little bit about who am I and why should you listen to me. My company, we build websites, we improve them, and we do usability testing to make sure they serve their primary purpose. We've built hundreds of websites and analyzed thousands of them. So we have a bit of knowledge on what works and what doesn't. And I even worked for the Yellow Pages print. Obviously, that was quite a few years ago. And the reason why I mention that is because you'll see that that has a lot in common with your website. So, but enough about me. Let's do another poll question and find out about the challenges that you're facing, because this is all about what you guys need. And that way I can tailor this conversation to your needs, and I'll be sure to cover any questions that you have there.
Okay, the poll is live. We've got, looks like about 10% of people voted. So in this case, you only get to pick one of these options. So think carefully, and let's find out what people really want here out of Hendrik's discussion today. All right, we've got 60% of people voting. We'll wait another couple minutes. Still coming in. Thank you, everybody. It's okay. I am going to close things down here, and I will share the results. There we go. Looks like people not taking action is the single biggest problem, which is great because that's a lot of what we're going to cover today. Okay, Hendrik?
All right.
Back over to you. Your screen, you might need to click.
Back to normal?
Back to normal.
Okay. So don't make me think. That you'll see that the don't make me think mantra, that's going to come up a lot in the next 15-20 minutes. So the three biggest problems that we consistently see are clarity, having a clear call to action, which is glad that that's the #1 concern everybody has here, and optimization. So something just happened.
Sorry, I'm not, you know what, I'm not seeing your slides here. Let's see. Can you click on your, just click on your desktop?
Let's see.
I don't know why.
I just switched something, so hopefully it works now.
Okay. All right, I'm going to try this again. I'm going to share the results, and then I'm going to hide the results. And it seems to be still stuck. I don't know, am I the only one having this problem? If you can see Hendrik's slides, can you just type a quick question, a quick yes, I can see them into your question box, please? Nope, okay, other people can't as well. All right, I am going to change the presenter back to me for a minute here. And I'm going to see if we can, I apologize for the technical issues. Okay, so there's me, and now I'm going to go back to you, Hendrik, and see if we can get, okay. Yeah, so you should be on. There we go. Okay, we're good.
Okay, do you see the don't make me think?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. All right. Let's show the screen. Hopefully that works. Okay, is it still working?
Yeah.
Okay, so where was I? Three biggest problems. Clarity, having a clear call to action, and optimization. So regarding clarity, do you clearly state the services you offer and the benefits to your community on your website? Is it easy to contact you, find your address, and find reviews of your community, which, as we've already found out, is probably the answer to that question is no. We found that there are really two groups of people that come to your website. One group, they already know you, and the other group doesn't know you at all. So when the people that know you come to your website almost becomes like the yellow pages used to be. They just want to find you, find your telephone number, and contact you. So give them what they want. Make it easy. And keep in mind that their first impression is still important. So if you have a sloppy or outdated looking website, then they might think your community is sloppy or outdated. So the second group doesn't know you yet. So instead of calling for a brochure like they used to, now they can go to your website and get the information that they're looking for. The second problem is having a strong call to action. So do you give direction on what you want your website visitors to do next? Seems like a simple thing, but the majority of senior care websites, they don't have a clear call to action, or perhaps they have too many. So again, when people don't know what to do next, what button do you think they press? Yep, the dreaded back button. Last but not least is optimization. So most senior care websites, they do not evolve with the time. So your position on Google search results page, it's dependent on whether or not you meet their ever-changing standards. And Google, by the way, it's quoted as saying that they changed their algorithm 500 plus times last year alone. So those are the three biggest problems, but what about some opportunities? The three biggest opportunities are, again, and we already know this from the polls, but are reviews, blogging, and mobile friendliness. So reviews can often be a touchy subject, but reviews are powerful. Most people, 67% according to Ad Age publication, they will trust the opinion of a complete stranger over that of a business or community. So the question is, do you clearly display links to review sites on your site? Or do visitors have to go back to Google to find the information that they want? And we'll go into more depth about linking and reviews later and best practices there. Next is blogging. Blogging is probably your biggest opportunity to get more leads and improve your search results. It's been proven that content marketing costs 62% less than traditional marketing and generates 3 times as many leads. And those stats are brought by a big company called HubSpot. So the third opportunity is mobile friendliness. 60%, I know there's a lot of stats, but it just shows the importance, but 60% of searches are now done on mobile devices. So you can use the Google, it's pretty quick, go to the Google mobile friendly test to find out if your website is mobile friendly or not. And by the way, we're going to share with you all of the tools I refer to and even send them to you in a PDF afterwards. So let's dive into some real life examples. So website analysis number 1. This community website, they do a few good things quite well, like every website, but they also have some room for improvement. And we'll go into each of these. But overall, the good is that they have pricing, which is a shocker, by the way. It's incredibly hard to find senior living community sites that have pricing on there. They have a map with their location, clear call to action to get a tour, and the opportunities are that they have testimonials, but no links to reviews. They don't have a blog, and the site is not mobile friendly. So let's start with the good. So they have, you can see here, they have a very clear call to action. It's to call them right here, call us now, request information, or to get a tour, which you can see here and down here. And they also have pricing, which again, like I said, is quite rare and another much heated debated subject. So it's a miracle they have pricing, a senior living community with pricing. So what did we say earlier, the top things that people are looking for? They're looking for location, contact information, reviews, services, and pricing. So if you don't feel, this website here, I mean, they give exact pricing. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, I mean, of course, down here they say it's subject to change, but you can give a range. But people want to know. I mean, have you ever had a conversation with a salesperson that avoids answering the question, how much does it cost? Of course, we all have. It's the #1 question on everybody's mind. So imagine searching for a new home or apartment and none of the websites you went to listed the price. Or if a real estate agent, they didn't share price information until you agreed to take a tour of the house. Wouldn't you agree that would be kind of a bit weird? Yeah, I mean, you know everybody wants to know your pricing, so why not be upfront and share it? So another good thing that they do is they clearly share their location and have a map with directions right here to their location. So along with pricing, This is actually a caring.com study that was done, is location is one of the biggest factors in selecting a senior living community. I mean, people want to be close to their neighborhood, their home, and of course they want to be close to their family. So that's the good. Let's move on to some opportunities. Their site is not mobile friendly. Why is that important? Like I said earlier, 60% of searches are now done on mobile friendly devices. And again, you can use the Google mobile friendly test. It takes just a couple, 2-3 minutes to find out if your website is mobile friendly. And it doesn't just stop there. If Google says, hey, great job, your site is mobile friendly, but it has to be easy to use on a mobile device. What does that mean? It has to have big buttons, big text, just very easy to use. So 2 other opportunities for this community are adding a blog and a link to reviews. So like I said, they have testimonials, but no links to unbiased reviews. You can see here a suggestion where they could add blogs and reviews. So right here, the main nav, that's where everybody goes to see, okay, where can I go to get more information about them? So menus, sure, that's important, but not nearly as important as a blog or review. So that could probably go down here somewhere. Floor plans, yes, of course, people are going to eventually get to that, but that's not one of the initial things, so maybe add reviews right there. So there's always a place to put the most important things, and the main navigation bars is a good place to do that. All right, so on to website analysis number 2. This community is actually right across the street from where my parents live. They have a great site. It's easy to use, great images, useful tools, valuable content. So this right here, this is a screenshot of their homepage. So they have a beautiful image of the community right there. And again, it's across the street from my parents' place, so I know how beautiful it is. And they have a great call to action. See, there's not a lot of clutter here. It's just, okay, schedule a tour. There are no other options there. And that's what we call a clear call to action. And again, the internet, it's a great place to make a mistake because there's no penalty. All you have to do is click the back button. So you want to guide your visitors with these clear calls to action. They also do a good job sharing pricing, and they have useful tools like this cost calculator. So tools and resources like this, they show website visitors that they're here to help the whole family. In fact, they say it right there. They show that they're interested in the visitor and fulfilling their needs. So here's another example of how they're helpful in sharing informative content. So prospects can get a better idea of what the lifestyle at this community would be like. Isn't it true that seniors and their families, they want to know what life will be like living in your community? Of course. So even though they have a great site, like most, there's always room for improvement. So right here, first of all, they're making a critical optimization error. They don't have an XML sitemap. So this part right here, this isn't part of their, this is a tool that we use. It's called WooRank, which is free, by the way, and we're going to share that in that checklist I mentioned. But why does an XML sitemap matter? Basically what happens is Google goes out and crawls the internet and ranks pages. The first place they go to crawl your site is the XML sitemap. And they don't have one, or it's not set up correctly, so Google's not finding it. That's a big no-no. Other missed opportunities. They're just like most other senior care sites. They don't have a blog up here, nor do they have reviews. And blogs and links to reviews, they're really they're low-hanging fruit. I've analyzed hundreds of senior care websites, and hardly any of them have links to reviews or a blogging. What does that mean to you? That means that whoever does it first and does it well, they'll get an immediate head start. Again, it's low-hanging fruit. I mean, I could go on all day about that. It's basically arbitrage. I mean, marketers ruin everything. It's when something starts going well, then everybody piles in. But this opportunity is still here, so the first ones to pile in are the ones going to see the biggest benefits. So before I go on to the last website analysis, hopefully we can shift the screens correctly this time, but let's shift gears a bit and do another poll question and find out what you think people do after visiting your site.
All right, we've got, looks like about 20% of people voting. And it looks like everybody wants to go to YouTube to watch funny cat videos.
I knew it.
All right, we've got 63, 64. Thank you, everyone. Let's see. I'm going to give it another quick minute. Hendrik, we had a quick question here while we're waiting for the poll results. Maybe you want to answer. Say more about unbiased reviews and maybe outline a little bit the difference between reviews and testimonials.
Absolutely. So a testimonial comes from a company or the community. So whether it's, I mean, it's solicited. Of course, you can't pay somebody to do a testimonial, then it's, you know, just completely irrelevant. But that's completely different than an unbiased review. Caring.com provides unbiased reviews. Google provides unbiased reviews. So like that stat I mentioned earlier, 67% of people trust the word of somebody that's a complete stranger than the company itself. So just to define it, Caring.com's reviews are unbiased. I mean, you guys do not talk to any of the communities when you're getting these reviews. You're talking to the actual people that are living there or the families of the people that are living there. So there's a huge difference between testimonials and unbiased reviews. Does that answer their question?
I think so. All right, so we have the results, and it looks like overwhelmingly everybody thinks they go back to Google to look at competitor sites or go back to Google to seek out reviews. And of course, anyone who was on our SEO webinar a couple of months ago knows that the biggest thing you can do to make sure that you rank high in Google's organic search results is to not have people hit the back button and go to Google. So I think, Hendrik, you're going to talk about that.
I am.
Let's see if we can get this going. Oh, it looks like we're having the same problem.
How about now? Let's see.
No, still not working. Okay, so let me see. We did this before, and it worked pretty well. I'm going to change the presenter back to me.
Clearly, I'm good at analyzing websites, but not so good at GoToWebinar.
And then we're going to change the presenter back to you. And you're on.
Okay. Okay, can you see it?
Okay, beautiful. Yep.
All right, website analysis number 3. So what do people do after they visit your site? Most people think they click back to Google and go to competitor sites, and you are more than likely correct. Or they go search for reviews, which I'll go into as well. What they do after they visit your site is almost as important as what they do on your site. So this website here, they do quite a few good things. They do a great job on social media, and they provide plenty of great content. And of course, the missed opportunities are the same old, same old. So let's go into those. Okay, so first of all, they're doing a great job with Facebook. I mean, as you can see here, I took this screenshot yesterday, so they have over 4,000 likes. And although it's not on their main site, they have reviews. Wow, finally. By the way, I just thought of something else. Here's a quick tip that can generate massive amounts of leads for your community. If you have, just call it over 500 likes, what you can do is we've seen great results when you add a tab right here. You can't change the timeline or the about, Facebook won't let you, but adding a tab here that links to a landing page that will convert likes into actual leads. So you don't really want to take away reviews, but perhaps you could take away photos and add a tab there with a strong call to action. Because likes, they're really not worth that much, but they're worth a little bit, but actual leads coming to your website are worth a whole lot more. So this community also, they also do a great job clearly stating benefits of their community. So, I mean, isn't it true that most people, they just want to know what's in it for me? You can show them by clearly stating the benefits on what's special about your community. You can see they do that all over the place here. Okay, now back to the opportunities. And this goes back to the poll question of what people do after they visit your website. So let's dive a little bit deeper and let me explain why having links to reviews, unbiased reviews on your site benefits you. So it might sound counterintuitive. Okay, why would I send people away from my site? But it will actually help you build trust with your audience. So as you can see here, the reviews are out there whether you like it or not, so why not embrace them? When somebody goes to your site, one of the things that they're looking for is the opinion of other people, unbiased reviews, not the opinion of testimonials, because that's what CC Young, if a testimonial is on there, that's CC Young asked him for that. So when was the last time you went to Amazon.com to buy something and completely ignored the reviews? Probably never. So what would you prefer? Not having any links to reviews and visitors clicking the back button to the Google search results, this right here, to get what they want, and perhaps, like we said, I think it was 51% think that they end up on a competitor site, or link to the reviews sites like Caring.com, Yelp, Google Reviews, right there on your site. That way, when they click the most clicked button in all of the internet's web browsers, the back button, if they click the back button, they're back on your site. Plus, that kind of transparency, it really starts to build trust. And here, again, it goes back to my old mantra is don't make me think. So what you can't see here, this is a screenshot, but you can't see that the sliders, I'm not a big fan of sliders at all, but they move every few seconds, so it's very hard to figure out what to do next. And there's so many different, I circled, what do I do? The only halfway decent one is they have that there, but okay, call them, but why? Why should I call you? It's when something is difficult or unclear, what do you think people do? I mean, I know I'm repeating myself. They click the back button, but that's critically important to know that. So you got to guide them forward, not backward. Okay, so if there's anything I hope you take away from this, it's these 4 things. First of all, be clear. Clearly state your service and benefits. Give the people what they want and make it easy to find. Have clear call to actions. Second is include links to reviews. I mean, they're going to look for reviews regardless. So why not help them and point them in the right direction? Transparency builds trust. Next is content. So provide value. I mean, one idea is you could even provide links to local resources such as businesses that are right around the corner within 5 miles from you, like flower shops or yoga studios or health clubs, etc. Plus, you can gently request from them to link back to you, from these businesses to link back to you, which is called link building and increases your search engine results. That's not the primary reason for doing it. The primary reason is just to provide value and show that you're there to help, but it's a secondary benefit. So another way to show value is to help people find services that you don't even provide. Again, it might seem counterintuitive, but I can't take credit for this idea. This was Katie's idea. But for example, if you don't provide memory care, imagine what somebody would think if you provided links to communities that do offer memory care in your area. So you're showing them that you're there to help. Again, transparency builds trust, and they'll tell others about that. So last but not least is the website analysis. I highly recommend getting a fresh perspective to see what's working, what's not, and what needs to be fixed. So again, you can take a screenshot of this if you want, but we're going to send this to you. This is a checklist of the 10-point website analysis that we use. This is basically a checklist of everything you need to convert your website into a lead generating machine. Okay, so what should you do next, and what can you expect to happen when you take action? Everybody wants to know what's in it for me, of course. So the first step is to review your website and find out what's working, what's not. Use that checklist to find out what's working, what's not, and grab that low-hanging fruit. I can guarantee you it's out there. And of course, everybody wants to know what to expect, what's in it for me, right? So just by making a few changes, you can increase lead generation up to 10 times what you're getting now. And that's not just me saying that we've seen that happen. We've guided companies to get those kind of results. So I know that was a lot of information, and it was probably like trying to drink water from a fire hydrant, but if you want to save time and get a fresh perspective, we are exclusively, easy for me to say, offering a free website analysis to you. Just go to this URL right here, and again, Katie will share this in a follow-up email, cyber.guide/caring. That way you don't have to do it yourself. My team will go in and analyze your site and send you the website analysis report. And this is how you can contact me. I'm active on Twitter, but I'm very, very OCD, and I can't stand having unread emails in my inbox, so I will read your email, I promise, and respond. So I'm sure some of you have questions, so I'll turn it back over to Katie and answer any questions that have stacked up.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks, everyone. We have a question, which is talking about blogs. You've mentioned a lot of them. Do you have any stats on how many companies actually do have a blog?
In the senior care space? Well, obviously, yeah. I would, if I had to guess, I would say 15. Oh, okay. There's two separate answers to this question. The first answer is how many have a blog, and then that's fine and good, but the real answer, which is most important to everybody here, is who has a good blog. So I found probably 20% have a blog, but of those 20%, a minority of them are doing a good job with it. To be effective with a blog, you have to consistently post, which when I say consistently, that means at least once per week. You have to have provide valuable information, which it's easy in the senior, I shouldn't say easy, it's not hard in the senior care space to find great content. Look at caring.com's website, they have a great blog. So just the key is
we don't post once a week though.
Oh, Katie, that must have been in that's why you got a B instead of an A-.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's very, very important to have a call to action at the end. It's not meant to be salesy. It's just like, hey, if you want more information, do this. Come to our website or opt in for more great information. So long story short, to answer the question is hardly anybody is doing it right. So I'd say maybe 5% are doing a great job, and maybe 20% of the sites that we've seen have a blog, but they post once a month or once every other month, or they don't have a call to action, or it's not optimized. And it's a lot of little things that you have to do to make a blog work, but none of them, it's not rocket science. It's not that hard to do. It just takes time.
Yeah, and what I would say, we at Caring have a blog focused on our Digital Marketing Academy, and we post about the webinars, and we post periodically other articles, both written by our folks and by outside contributors. We end up posting probably twice a month, and what I would say is, you know, a blog post, it doesn't have to be the most miraculous thing or brilliant original insight or anything like that. And if you're in a local community, really the best thing to blog about is what's going on in your world. So if you're a senior housing company, you might blog about the party that you had for your residents. If you're a home care company, you might blog about something happening at the local hospital, or you know, the farmer's market and how good it is to eat healthy. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but what you're trying to do is get engagement from people in the community who are then going to use your services. And you can take that blog content and you can repurpose it for your Facebook pages. You can link from your Facebook page to your blog. I mean, all of those things are, it's great content, and you can do a lot with it. We have another question here, which is, I love the idea of providing links for visitors links for visitors to local businesses. What do you think are good examples of pertinent businesses to share? And I'll take this because this was an idea that was presented at our SEO blog by AJ Cohn, who's just an amazing SEO guru. And his idea was, think about what people are going to do next after they leave your website. They're going to want to find out reviews. So link to U.S. News and World Report, link to caring.com, link to other review sites. They're going to want to know, what is this local community like? So you might link to the Chamber of Commerce. The town I live in has declared itself an aging-friendly city, which some of us have issues with, but be that as it may, you might link to the local newspaper that has the article about when your community got designated an age-friendly city. You might link to the local hospital. You might link to a local florist if somebody wants to send flowers to someone in a rehab. You might link to, I don't know, shopping or anything else. Think about what people who are coming to your business would want to know next, and link to that.
I have one quick thing to add. One, you can kind of knock out two things at once. So let's take the florist example. You could create a blog about how to, somebody's moving into a new community that's very rough it's a tough thing for their family, it's a tough thing for the person moving, so maybe it's write a blog about what to do and how to say, hey, we're here for you. Write a blog about it, talk to a local florist and say, hey, I'm going to link to your website in my blog, so then you link to it in your blog, so then you have content for a blog and you have a link.
Hendrik, we're getting a bunch of questions now about if you're going to have a blog, is it okay to have it as a WordPress, a link on your website to a WordPress site, or do you need to actually have it be part of your own domain?
It depends on if you have a WordPress site and it's a WordPress blog, then yeah, of course. It's very important. I don't want to dive too deep into SEO, but yes, it's very important to have the titles of your blogs need to be SEO optimized. The easiest way to do that is having seniorcaresite.com/blog, and then when you have a title of a blog, it's seniorcaresite.com/flowers for loved ones. So the answer to the question, it really depends on the format of your blog, but yes, it's perfectly fine to have it as a WordPress site. That's what we do.
Okay. Yeah, we do too.
Just make sure that you do, and this is in the tools, by the way, the tool called WooRank, that when you can click a little button when you see your sitemap, just make sure that Google sees it. And if Google sees it, don't even worry about it. Or you can go, another quick tip, by the way, is you can do site, S-I-T-E, go to google.com, site, S-I-T-E, and then your website URL, and then it'll show all of the pages that Google indexes. So if it's indexed, your blogs, then you're fine. Don't even worry about it. If not, then you should get with your webmaster to make sure it is.
Hendrik, there's one quick question I want to highlight. Somebody said, how do you get to cyber.guide/caring? It's not www. It's just go to your web browser, forget the www, and type in cyber.guide/caring. And again, we will be emailing everybody who's on today, and when you get that email, you can just click on it, and that might be easier.
Yeah, I was trying to be clever, and that was probably not the best idea.
So here's another question. For a small AL operation, how do you do this economically? And that is going to hold true for a small home care agency, or for anyone who's not Sunrise or Brookdale and able to spread this out over 1,000 communities. How do you do this economically and efficiently?
Well, there's two. It's either time or money. It's either you pay somebody else to do it or you spend the time to do it yourself. The few critical things that you need to do is, and again, in the cyber guide, the website analysis that we do for people, we show people exactly how to do it. So the keys are the reviews and the blogs. So the way you do it, it's 2015. Honestly, just go to Google. If you don't have the money and you have an 8-bedroom assisted living community and you obviously don't need that much, just create a basic WordPress site, add a blog to it, and Google how to do it. And or just call somebody like me and we'll do it for you. I mean, we do that kind of stuff for $500. So there's tons of different ways to do it economically.
And the thing that I would say is a blog post doesn't have to be cutting edge research. It can be, a couple of pictures from your community holiday party, or you could even have residents post some comments about what it's like to live there. I think that would be a great blog post.
Well, yeah, that's a great point. Sorry to interrupt, Katie. That's a great point. And coming up with content is without question the most difficult thing. So there's one quote-unquote hack that you can use is, first of all, people that you work with or work for you, just tell them like, hey, guess what? We can, if you enjoy writing, write a blog post and we'll publish it for you. So you can get people within your community to do it. Another way is just obviously you don't steal. You gotta attribute correctly, but comment on what's going on in the news. That's called newsjacking. I wrote a blog about that. Or just take content from companies like caring.com and link to that. So there's a lot of different ways. Content it's very difficult to come up with one blog per week, by the way. It takes me 4 or 5 hours to come up with one. So.
Yeah, and that's why we don't do it.
But
okay.
I get the majority of my leads from there, so I have to.
Here's another, this is an interesting question. Do you still advise linking to third-party reviews if you know they are mostly negative, even if you've responded to them? And I'm going to jump in and take this one on. Consumers are increasingly savvy about online reviews, and if the negative reviews are because somebody's having a bad day, we're all sharp enough and savvy enough that we can kind of pick that up. I've told the story a couple of times about a local restaurant that was, my husband and I were looking around for one to go to, and we read a review and 1 star, and the person posting the review said, I took my 79-year-old mother out for her birthday, and we had 15 people, and it was a Saturday night, and they made me wait an hour and a half for a table. 1 star. Well, duh. So that particular negative review didn't bother me at all. What I would say is if you have negative reviews about your business or your community, the best thing to do is to ask some of your current residents or their families to post positive reviews that go on top of them. Because if you have 3 or 4 positive reviews on top of the negative reviews, nobody's going to pay much attention to the negative reviews. And in fact, they'll make the positive reviews look better because it'll be, somebody asked earlier about unbiased, having both positive reviews and negative reviews makes it clear that this is an unbiased site. And so the negative reviews make the positive reviews more attractive.
And one thing to add to that is a lot of times when there's a negative review, and Katie, like you said, it's something that's, I don't know, I don't want to call it irrelevant, but just not that important, or it's just blatantly like a disgruntled employee that goes onto the site and leaves a bad review. A lot of times, I see this all the time, is that you don't have to do a thing, you don't even have to respond to it. We recommend responding, by the way, to most things, but sometimes you don't. A lot of times your community is going to come to your defense, and they'll respond for you. They'll say like, oh, well, this is just a disgruntled employee, or they'll say, well, I had a completely different experience, etc. So really, again, I said it in my presentation, the reviews are out there whether you like it or not, so you might as well manage them as best as you can rather than not be able to manage them at all.
Okay. We are getting close to time here, Hendrik, so I'm going to grab things again. I mentioned earlier our next webcast is going to be a great one on mapping the caregiver journey. It's a month from now. And before you all leave, I am going to ask you to do me one favor. I'm going to launch another poll here, and this is for the senior housing companies on the call, and I'm hoping you'll help me out by taking a quick vote. This is a question that we have been talking about and is going to be the topic in our November webinar, which we'll be announcing shortly. So answer these next few questions, and thank you everyone for your attention. We'll be sending out the slides as well as a link to request a free cyber guide evaluation, which is a great thing. It can only help you, and you can't beat the price. So thank you all. Thanks everybody for voting, and check out our blog, and we'll see you at the next Digital Marketing Academy webinar in October.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. All right, we're getting lots of votes. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate the information. So if you stick on until the end, I will share the results, and you can see what other people on the call have answered here. All right, we're getting, wow, we've got 80+% of people. Yay. Okay, voting slowed down. I'm going to close the poll and share the results. There you go. I am so glad to see that people whose census is a budget, but they're still not full, are still willing to pay for referrals. That's what we're hoping for. Amazingly, we've had lots of people say, well, I'm at budget, so you know, don't send me anymore. I'm where I need to be. My boss is going to be happy. And you know, we kind of hate to tell them that your boss would be happier if you were full. So anyway, thank you, everyone. That's the end of our webinar, and we'll talk to you in a month. Bye-bye.